Well, now let's begin working on the sidewalks and courtyard of the environment. You can see here that I've got this kind of center courtyard with sidewalks coming off of it. And the original idea was to have it be kind of an enclosed space here with the sidewalks branching off from the center and then going around the outside. Now I do have a drawing that I can use for a background image for reference as we work. So let's bring that in. I'm going to go to a brand new layer here, down here, and I'll press the N key to bring up the Properties panel. And if I scroll down, I get this area called Background Images. And I'll check that and roll down the little triangle here and hit Add Image. Now in this Add Image section, I can choose which view that this is going to be seen from. And these are mainly orthographic views. So I'll choose the top view. And I'll go ahead and press Open and browse to my image. So I have this top view layout image. And now I've brought it in, but I can't see it in the viewport. I need to actually go to the top view by pressing the 7 key on the numpad, and yet still I can't see it. So now I need to press the 5 key on the numpad to get the orthographic view. So there's our image of the walkways. If we turn on one of the layers with the buildings, you can see that the reference image is pretty small. So if we come over here to this scale field right here, we can type in, instead of 10, let's try 100. And that looks pretty good. If this is the size of our buildings currently and the size that it should be in Unity, then this isn't looking too bad. All right, so now that we've established our scale for this, I'm going to go ahead and go to an empty layer again. And as I create objects, it might be kind of hard to see on this background image. So I'm going to reduce the opacity here in the background images section to maybe, oh, I don't know, 0.1, something like that. So I think what I'll do is begin with this centerpiece and then kind of extrude out for the pathways. And it looks as if I could use a cylinder maybe with 12 sides here. Let's give this a try. I'm going to go to the Create tab and create a cylinder. And immediately I'm going to go down here to the cylinder settings and change the vertices to 12. And I'll also change the cap fill to triangle fan. So now let's hit the S key and scale this out and see how we're doing. That might just work. Let's rotate this. I want to hit the R key and rotate it. And I'll line that top walkway up with one of the sides. Now the other sides aren't really lined up with the walkways, but that's okay. I'm going to go with the symmetry of the cylinder here rather than the drawing here. All right, so let's take a look at that. Yeah, the cylinder needs to probably be scaled down a bit. And we probably don't need the bottom faces, so I'll tab into edit mode and I'll press the C key and select these faces and then hit the X key and delete faces. I'm going to press the 3 key to go to the side view, and I'll scale this down just a bit. Perhaps I'll bring back one of the buildings with shift and clicking the layer here. And I'll bring this floor down to the bottom of the building, right about there. Okay, so now I'll go back to this layer and go to the top view with the 7 key, and I'll press the Z key for wireframe. If I tab back into edit mode, I can see the faces here, and I think what I want to do is extrude this face, and this face out for the walkways. I'm going to press the N key to close the property panel to get a little more room here. And now, if I come over to the Tools tab, I could hit the E key to extrude here, and if I did, you can see it would just kind of go off in that direction, and that's not what we want. So I'm going to undo that with Control or Command Z. And instead of extruding like that with just the E key, I'm going to come over here to the extrude menu and choose region vertex normals. And what that will allow me to do is extrude in the direction of each of these faces. So I'll click that and move the mouse, and I'll bring these out maybe right about here. Something like that. And I'll click. And now I need faces to extrude out to the edges here. So what I'll do is I'll press Control R here, and that will insert an edge loop right in the center. So I'll go ahead and accept that. I'll click once and click once again. And I'll do the same over here and the same over here. So now those are just exactly in the center of that walkway. I'll Control Tab back to face mode, and I'll just select this face, and this face. And now let's extrude these out as well. So I'll go back to Extrude Region Vertex Normals and drag the mouse out to something like here for now. Alright, so that gives us the walkways out of the central courtyard. Now we need this walkway all the way around. And all that seems to be is just a cylinder with 6 sides. So once again, let's go to the Create tab, create a cylinder, and let's change the number of vertices here from 12 to 6. And now if I scale this out, we can see that it's going to be, I think, the right size. We just need to rotate it. And maybe if we rotate it, let's see how many degrees that was. I'm going to press the N key and come up here to the top, and that was almost 30 degrees. I'll try 30. There we go. And once again, I'll scale it down so it's a little bit thinner. And I'll go to the side view and hit the Z key so I can see exactly how big the other piece was and try and match that up. And let's go back to the top view again. And now if I tab into edit mode, and I'm just going to select the faces on the top here, and maybe the Z key for wireframe. And now if I hit the E key to extrude and click and then press the S key to scale in, I can move these in something like that. So I can begin to get that pathway around the outside. Maybe like that. And then I'm going to go to the side view, and we want to extrude down now. I'll press the E key and pull down about like that. And now we can delete this completely. So I'm just going to press the X key and choose faces. Now we've got our outside pathway here, but I do need to select these and get rid of these as well on the bottom of the cylinder. I'll press X and faces. So there we go. There's our outside pathway. Now we just need to connect them up. So to do that, I'm going to need to join these two objects into one. Because what I'd like to do is use the bridge tool to bridge faces from these angled pathways to the outside ones. So I'm going to select the inside piece and then shift select the outside piece and press Ctrl J, and that makes them all one object. And now if I tab into edit mode, what I can do is come over here and I'm going to insert 2 edge loops in here. I'll go ahead and press the N key to get rid of that properties panel. So I'm going to press Ctrl R, and I'm going to scroll the mouse wheel one time, and that will give me 2 edges. And I'll click and click again. Now back to face mode, and I'll select this face, and then I'll press Ctrl E, which gives me the edges menu, and I can choose this bridge edge loops. If I click that, that will connect these up. Now what it's done, if you can see, there's kind of a difference in color here. And what it's done is it's actually flipped the normals. So if we were to take this into Unity, we would be seeing through this piece because this is the back of the polygon. And that's what that difference in color is telling us. So what I'm going to do is select these 3 pieces, and I'll press the W key, which brings up the specials menu, and I'll choose Flip Normals. And that will now make those polygons the same color. And let's do that with the others here as well. So I'll come over here, press Ctrl R, scroll the mouse wheel, click twice, and now in face mode I'll just select these two, press Ctrl E, and bridge edge loops. Now it looks like I need to select these and flip them. And I'll do the same thing over here. Now one thing I didn't do is delete the faces on the bottom of that original pathway. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll tab back into edit mode and I'm going to press the C key, and I just want to select these on the bottom and press X and delete faces. So I'll go through and clean that up a bit. And there we have the walkways for our environment. In the next video, we'll work on the courtyard in the center.